What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back here in the video, and today we are going to be doing the AFC 3-round mock draft. Came out with the NFC yesterday, and you guys did it. You guys are probably wondering, why are you doing AFC and NFC? It's just to create a little bit of variability before I do my final mock draft coming up next week, and it's gonna be, I believe it's gonna be a 4-rounder because it will be up until the night of the draft. So obviously Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I might drop a final. We never know. But we are going to get into this. I hope you guys do enjoy. Obviously, we're going to be doing a live stream covering the draft. You guys get to see my live reaction and stuff since obviously I'm not going to be home. I'm going to be here. So you guys are going to have the full experience. So I hope you guys do enjoy that. Let's have some fun. Starting off with the first overall pick. We got 3 rounds to get through, so we ain't going to have some BS time making jokes about taking Shane Buechele here. We're going to go Trevor Lawrence. It's a guaranteed. It's a lock. I mean, obviously, he's amazing. Blue chip prospect. There's nothing really wrong with him. There's a couple things he could tweak, but I mean, the kid's still like 21. He's been the best ever since he was in high school. Obviously, the quarterbacks from Georgia, both Fields as well as Lawrence, have been quite spectacular throughout their times, and they deservedly are being picked high for how well they played. But at this number 2 spot, oh, isn't it funny how Mac Jones isn't in here? Funny. Number 2, the Jets. I mean, if the Eagles traded back because they're like, we couldn't trade up to 3 because we don't think Zach Wilson's going to be there, then I think that we think that, of course, I have my sound on. Gotta love college. I'm pretty sure that Zach Wilson's gone number 2. And given the Sam Darnold's gone, we know it's a quarterback. Don't think it's going to be Justin Fields. But I love the idea that Justin Fields is starting to be mocked to the Niners. Again, Trey Lance had the least number of throws over, I believe, the past I don't know what the metric was, but maybe since 2018 he had the least amount of pass attempts. And I mean, that's behind Davis Mills, who played less, like 6 less games than him. So it's just a little bit insane for me to think that Trey Lance would go number 3, because I know they got some Trey Lance truthers out there, but I mean, we've seen the ceiling out of Justin Fields. People were just saying, I mean, it's so funny how people love to fluctuate on Justin Fields. After that Clemson game, people were like, quarterback 2, is he the quarterback 1? Does he deserve to be number 1 overall? And then has the Bama game where he still plays pretty damn well, and people are like, oh well. So this spot, obviously Kyle Pitts is gone. There is one option for me right now, and that is Penei Sewell here. Jamar Chase is a generational talent, but again, I think getting Penei Sewell, starting him at guard this year as he learns from Riley Reef, is the best option because he gets the time on the field as well as the mentorship. And honestly, he could start, but that would kind of he could fill in that guard role for the time being, to where you don't have to overdraft and get the best player available, and not have to just be like, we need to get starting caliber guards, because the guard, Michael Jordan was the reason why Joe Burrow got completely shellacked and almost lost his leg. So let's make sure that Joe is okay. Penei Sewell, generational prospect. These guys, he has to be one of these generational guys. Should be this pick. So we're gonna stick with it. With the Dolphins, personally, I honestly don't. I love Jamar, but I don't love always going after a wide receiver this high. But there's no doubt in my mind that he's worth it. It's just like, I don't know if I would have given up 2 first. Obviously, they gained a plethora of picks in return. So at the end of the day, they did a good job. Jamar Chase is a good fit. Again, I would just rather them have been at 12 and gotten a Jalen Waddle personally than having them be here and get Jamar Chase, because I honestly think the slot is the bigger issue. And I love Jalen Waddle as my wide receiver too, but no one can ever complain about Jamar Chase. It's just, it's like, oh man, this is like the 3rd skill position off the board. And again, he is close to generational talent, but I don't think he's generational talent. That's my little take right there. At number 9, Trey Lance is still on the board, and I think I'd take him. I saw this take earlier today. It might have been Louis Riddick who said it. It's like, listen, if Trey Lance comes in, most likely Drew Lock will start. There's always the chance that Trey Lance won't start. I mean, Trey Lance is ready to start and will start, but I think that Trey Lance, his ceiling is unbelievable. And Drew Lock, we all know he's not going to be the future. If he does develop into being the future, good. Now you have an asset in Trey Lance that you could trade away for a couple first-round picks, because people love guys who can actually develop. If Trey Lance is just sitting below Drew Lock because Drew Lock has ascended, then that's not a liability. That's an asset to you. And again, we could go Micah Parsons here, and that would be awesome. But I think the biggest hole in this roster is a quarterback. and we couldn't get Deshaun yet. And I don't think the number 9 pick is going to be worthy of getting Deshaun. And I mean, we don't even know if Deshaun's going to play another snap. Hopefully, for everybody's sake, all the allegations are wrong, and then Deshaun can come back to play. Nobody was actually harassed in that way, but I mean, I'm not sure how that situation is going to go out, and I'm not going to comment any further on it. I just hope the best for Deshaun, and I hope that his character is as good as what we all think he should be. But this is a spot where there's no real reason in saying no to a quarterback at 9. This is not top 5 picks, not top 3 pick. The Broncos have a team that's ready for the Super Bowl, and Mac Jones could be that guy. If you want the guy to just step in and play day one, that could be your guy. But I think Trey Lance is unbelievable ceiling. And again, when you lost Philip Lindsay, he adds a little bit more to that run game. So just saying, it's not a bad choice. I know that my Broncos fans are not going to be too happy with that because I know the Broncos fans I have on this channel do not vibe with it. But you're sticking at 9, you're keeping all of your picks, and then you're still getting a guy with a very high ceiling. So now the Chargers are on the board, and to me, this is an easy pick. Darsaw, yes, people bring up the fact that he had really tiny hands. And if you guys want to see my scouting reports, you guys can DM me in the Discord chat, which is in the link description below. I'm bugging already, but I mean, obviously, if you follow me on Twitter, you guys will see when I have new reports come out. You can also see the website where it's at, and then look up my reports on these dudes. But Christian Darsaw, one of the few things he had an issue with is his hands, but it wasn't where he couldn't place them in the right spot. It's just sometimes they deflected off the guy. And if he has better placement, I think it'll be perfectly fine. It's how you use your hand size, not, I mean, obviously it's a little bit of a hindrance. Maybe it keeps him from having that ceiling that really would be pretty awesome. But I think that he could be a bona fide starting left tackle. Maybe he won't be a top 10 left tackle, but number 13, that's going to be definitely worth taking. He's super athletic and very consistent with a lot of experience. I love that combo. With the Patriots here, it's Mac Jones or Micah. And if you're sitting here at 15, I mean, I don't like thinking Mac Jones is actually a Mike. I mean, he's not actually a Tom Brady in my eyes at all. But for the realism of the draft, I think we might have to take Mac Jones here because it is true. I don't think Cam Newton is shit. I think he's complete garbage. I think he's a wasted talent. He's a great mentor, though. I mean, he has that potential there, but the way he's been playing, of course, he pretty much played as well as Lamar Jackson did. It's just like, I don't see the Cam Newton that I loved back in the day. He's not there anymore. And yeah, COVID fucked him up, and he's in a new scheme and stuff. But if Mac Jones is here, I'd say take him because they got so many free agents that, like, linebacker, cornerback, all these positions, they're not that big of a need. Quarterback, Mac Jones could start day one. And again, they're trying to take advantage of the teams kind of like falling and losing players. This could be a good spot to slot in a guy like Mac Jones who has some more weapons around him and like a fully loaded offensive line. This is a team where he might have the most success. So Mac Jones going to the Patriots. We already know they have success with that. At number 17, we got the Raiders, which unfortunately the guy who I would take for them is right there. So Tevin Jenkins and Michael Parsons are gone. So that really hurts me inside. I don't really think there's any more right tackles. What the hell is going on with the ranking system? Alex, what the? This is some complete baloney. Obviously, I'm going to be targeting Spencer Brown possibly next round. So if we want to, we can target a Christian Barmore here. That was very interesting. It sounded like a train outside. But we could get after a Christian Barmore here, who is actually somebody who will have a day one impact. The only first round tier defensive lineman on this in the entire draft. Levi Wuzurike hasn't apparently had a very good offseason. We could just get a will linebacker though. Somebody who can blitz very well. I could always look at Jabril Cox for that, but next round I want to go after tackle. ZAVEN Collins would be interesting. He wouldn't fit that Sam blitzing linebacker. I don't know. He's 270 pounds weighed in. It's like almost too good to pass up. Obviously, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah could be the pick here as well, though. He definitely could. He's up in like that 220 range, but he could definitely be. He definitely could be in that Sam role. This is by far the trickiest pick for me right now for the Raiders, because I could easily go after. Man, this is tough. This is a tough cookie. So, this is very, very interesting. You know what? I'm honestly going to get ZAVEN. I know it might not be the right move, but I have Zaven as a top 15 player. His coverage ability is insane. The fact he can blitz, unbelievable. He has edge style talent. He's 270 pounds who can run into the 4.6s. It's he is an unreal talent, and Gruden will shape him up. This guy could be the next great linebacker, and I don't think that Corey Littleton or Nick Kwiatkowski should be kind of stopping Zaven Collins from doing that. Obviously, Raekwon McMillan is on the Patriots now. So at 18, we got the Dolphins. And at this spot, I mean, I could see a multitude of ways that we'd go here. I would have went Zaven Collins. So that's personally my pick for this. But I think that we should be going for that 4-3. I mean, that defensive end that we just lost in Lawson, right? So getting a guy like Kwity Paye to me is almost paramount here. You know, we could look at Jalen Phillips. I just don't think this team's ready to win a Super Bowl. And you know my take on Jalen Phillips. I'm not going to go into it again, but I'm going to go Kwity Paye here. I love Kwity Paye. I have him as a top 15 player in the class. So I think that he's super smooth. I love that first step, and he's going to be a big impact at the next level. I absolutely love him, and he's going to be a really good starter for the Dolphins. At 21, I think we can find a solidified left tackle, but technically we could wait. So I want to see other options here. Edgewise, oh my God, what is up with the rankings? I honestly think we can get Gregory Rousseau next round and be perfectly fine. I'm going to be pulling a left tackle here. I'm going Sam Cosmi. If you want somebody who has adequate length, obviously none of these tackles really have really good length, surprisingly, in this class. Even Spencer Brown. If you want someone who can start day one, super high floor, not the best ceiling in the world, just because I don't see the strength there, even though he put up like 36 bench reps. I just didn't see the play strength. And maybe he's developed that in the offseason, which means he would be a top 20, top 15 player for me. I mean, Sam Cosmi has been an excellent tackle forever. Really well balanced as well. And that's going to be very crucial in this run attack that has Marlon Mack, Jonathan Taylor, as well as Nyheim Hines, if I'm not mistaken. That's a lethal running back core. And then you have, of course, Carson Wentz there and that gang. So getting Sam Cosmi there would just, that solidifies the offensive line. So I'm pretty happy with that. If you guys have anything to know where you're just like, oh, by the way, even the Colts like to go after bigger offensive linemen, please let me know about that, because that's something that I could definitely factor in, because I always love knowing what the scheme fits are. But at this pick, this is a toughie, because I can go, oh, Rashad Bateman just went. Oh, so Rashad Bateman's gone. So right now I'm down to Elijah Moore, or maybe a guy like Greg Newsome. Or we can even go a right tackle, which, of course, Tevin Jenkins already went. So this is a tough one. I'm going to be looking more into this wide receiver realm, because you lost two of your largest producing wide receivers in Adam Always Injured Humphreys and then Corey Davis. And our Corey Davis replacement is gone. That's the simple fact. But Elijah Moore, we already know he has that A.J. Brown connection, and he is a lethal weapon. We need to give something to Ryan Tannehill here. We can't have him bereft of weapons anymore. You know how much he used Jarvis Landry over in Miami. You need to have his Jarvis Landry, who is a lot faster than Jarvis Landry too. Elijah Moore is an elite weapon, and just imagine after the catch with Elijah Moore and A.J. Brown. That's going to be so fun. Instant chemistry. That's going to be a very lethal wide receiver core, and you're going to basically make lemonade out of the lemons right there. I'm a big fan of that. 23, the Jets. We're going to try to speed it up a little bit here. I'd be looking more for like a wide 9 defensive end, but to be honest, I believe that the guy who I want is here, and it's Elijah Vera Tucker. We need to get that offensive lineman in there at that right guard spot. Greg Van Roten, not going to be the option. He could technically play tackle as well, especially if George Fant gets hurt and Van Roten is good enough to start. I think that that's going to be very crucial for them to be able to continue having some protection for Zach Wilson. So I like this. Elijah Vera Tucker. I'm not low on Elijah Vera Tucker. I'm just not super high on him. I mean, I'm more high. It's more like I'm high on Tevin Jenkins than, because there was a ranking where it's like rank Leatherwood, AVT, Jenkins, and then Darsaw. So I put Darsaw, Jenkins, AVT, obviously, then Leatherwood. But I think that Elijah Vera Tucker, you could definitely go back to my first videos. I've been a fan of this guy since day one. I knew that he was on the PFF watch list. He's played really well at guard, and I think he'd be an excellent guard. I don't like him as a tackle just because he has stub arms. But so is the rest of this damn class. So the Steelers spot, there really isn't. I mean, Leatherwood is the only guy who could be reaching into the Steelers pound range right now. Obviously, Dylan Radunes doesn't get there either because I know he was like at 309 pounds. So Spencer Brown can get close. Stone Forsythe can get close. Excuse me, can get close. James Hudson actually, I thought he could get close, but there's not too many guys who actually fit what the Steelers are looking for at left tackle, and they're already stretching that to be able to have accommodated Alejandro Villanueva. I think the Steelers really do need to reestablish that run game. It's what the Steelers were. You got like their championships teams had like Jerome Bettis, and then you think back to Richard Mendenhall, Willie Parker, Le'Veon Bell. There's always been a solidified running back here, and as soon as Bell left, you had James Conner, and then James Conner couldn't really stay healthy or be consistent. Tried to change up his game, and then just became mediocre. Najee Harris is Steeler Nation, in my opinion. I think that's the right move. And I don't like saying that because I don't like running backs in the first round. But again, the Steelers are trying to win now, and Najee Harris is such a Steeler. So finally get our Le'Veon Bell replacement back. And he's a really good talent. It's just the treads off the tires. But the Steelers are trying to remain relevant, and he will continue to keep the Steelers at least semi-competitive throughout his entire career, which unfortunately will screw us on draft capital because we need to rebuild. So at this spot, the Jaguars, I mean, I would consider going at tackle here, but I think we can do that in our next pick. I don't think we can give up on Trevon Merrick here. We have to go him because I know that he's going to possibly get taken at 28, and we got to get that second safety. I think we got Rashard Jenkins on here, and now we got to solidify that with a true all-around safety in Trevon Merrick, who it's everybody's safety one. It's pretty obvious. The safety class here isn't the best in the world. I'm so happy Divine Diablo is moving up. I was a big fan of Divine Diablo, but yeah, I mean it's not that great. After this spot, I don't really think there's that many great safeties. Obviously, they have some talent. There's no scrubs until we're getting about to this area, and then Tariq Thompson, DeMar Hamlin are still really good. Paris Ford as well. So there's a lot of really good safeties in this class. Just I don't know if they're going to be NFL starter worthy, but we're going through 3 rounds, so we got to kick it up a notch. So for the Browns, I could honestly see them going at Jalen Phillips here. You know, it's 100% something I can consider doing. Christian Barmore as well. If they want to solidify that interior defensive line, it wouldn't be something that's too far off. Like if they're just trying to patch everything up. Wide receiver wise, I can't see them going anywhere. Tight end, no. Offensive line, they're pretty fine for the time being. And corner, they're not getting anybody who's falling to them. So to me, I never ever do this. But with Jadeveon Clowney there, I don't think we need to get a third edge player to just continue rotating right now. We just released, I believe, Sheldon Richardson. We need to get Barmore. It solidifies a defensive front. So be able to get Barmore. The only like actual draftable day 1 interior defensive lineman. And honestly, we can go Milton Williams round 2 potentially as well and put him at that defensive end spot and have him learn from guys like Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett. But Christian Barmore's a beast. 27, we got the Ravens, and edge would be fun here, but I don't think they're much better at getting edge later on. I am 100% on the Mel Kiper train for Terrace Marshall Jr. Obviously, they need to be rocking that wide receiver that's a deep threat route. They tried to get with Miles Boykin, hasn't really worked out. So let's try to get that fixed up with a guy who has a good catch radius and a lot of potential here. So hopefully his lack of motor, to put it simply, doesn't get in the way. At this spot, I could look at an outside linebacker like Jimmy Davis because, again, we got 2 linebackers there in Edmonds and Milano, but where's the third? Where's the third real good one? Interior defensive line, off the board. You're kind of toast right there. We could get a guy like Jason Owe right here. I know we technically would have to go after like a guy like Joe Tryon, given the fact that he's on the predictive board like this, but I really don't think that's paramount. I think getting a zone corner is what we need to do. Greg Newsome's a man corner. My eyes, excellent hip swivel. I think he should be going before Eric Stokes. But there's a slight problem with that, given the fact that Eric Stokes is a zone corner. But this spot, I could even look at Javonte Williams, but I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that. They were looking after Najee Harris. So I'm right now down to Jamin Davis as well as Eric Stokes. And I can't really see a very good zone corner apart from Ifeatu Melifonwu. And I'm going to be honest, I'm taking him probably with the Colts in the next round, who are ahead of the Bills. So I think under the necessity to actually secure a cornerback too, because again, Levi Wallace is only there for a year and he's not that great. I think we're going to be solidifying Eric Stokes into the lineup, who I personally have an early second on. I'm a big fan of Eric Stokes. Excellent speed and excellent instincts. People tried to say that the balls were thrown right to him. I say some BS. Obviously, I watched the tape. I saw him jump off his own guy and pick off a ball like a Marcus Peters would. Obviously, I think his instincts are much better in zone than they are in man, so I'm not going to be doing a Marcus Peters comp, but he's excellent in zone, and he's going to be very lethal in this Bills secondary. I think that would be a big addition to them. Next, with the Chiefs. Chiefs, I'm going to be looking offensive tackle here. I think that we could go, of course, wide receiver. Linebacker, I mean, that could be a big fit right there with Jamin Davis. Can you imagine his speed on this team? Like, it'd be ridiculous. I think there's a big drop off in my eyes. I mean, Nick Bolton is a solid linebacker as well, but Jamin Davis is an all around linebacker. I think the hype with his speed, his athleticism, and the fact that he was able to do what he did in like almost 11 games, I think it might be able to slot in right here because linebacker is a big issue. You got Willie Gay there, which is an excellent pick in my eyes. It was one of my favorite picks last year. Let's get Jamin Davis. They're both athletic freaks. And again, we're not doing trades. It's too much RNG. So I want to keep it fresh. I want to keep it interesting for you guys. That's why we're changing up some picks. We're keeping it nice and easy. So at this spot, I'm looking at two spots. I'm looking at Kadarius Toney, who would be a really good slot, or we're looking at a tackle, which again, we do need a tackle so badly. And Elijah Moore's already off the board. But I would feel confident going to Amari Rodgers and losing out on a Kadarius Toney rather than going Dylan Radunes, or like if we decide to go Kadarius Toney, missing out on Dylan Radunes and having to go like a Jalen Mayfield. You know what I mean? I think that the RNGs are not the RNG, but the fact that there's other teams that need tackles means that Dylan Radunes has to be the guaranteed left tackle here. There's no doubt in my mind. You got to go Dylan Radunes at this spot. Somebody who proved to be a first rounder in my eyes. Number 34, the Jets. I can definitely see him going edge here. Please say Jason Oweh's on the board. Fits this wide nine really well. And again, if I'm going to have an edge go with any defensive coordinator to be successful, I most likely will be sending him to Robert Saleh. And the upside is just too good. So I love it. I love Joe Tryon as well. I don't know if I'd have 35 as my spot for Joe Tryon, but it's probably closer to 40. But he's still a really, really good player. I love him a lot. At 36, you guys already know where I'm rocking with this, by the way. We're going Javonte Williams. I love this idea of the RBBC with some really talented running backs that people don't give enough credit. It's like, dude, the offensive line was kind of buns, right? Obviously, we haven't really addressed the offensive line here, which we will. We got another pick to address the offensive line. But we haven't addressed the offensive line yet, which is unfortunate. But the offensive line has had some pieces come in. Obviously, the Ravens' two worst offensive starters on their offensive line have come and been some good backup. We got some development from the rookies. So now having a more developed offensive line, that'll boost it up a little bit. Better weapons will allow for a better run game. I think the run game is going to blow up quite a bit in Miami this year. So getting Javonte Williams there, he's an excellent elite threat. So with the Bengals on the board right now, I mean, I wouldn't rule it past them to go interior offensive line at this spot and just go like a Landon Dickerson for center, which would totally fuck over what my idea of what I'm doing for the Dolphins, of course. But they could definitely get a wide receiver here. De'Ami Brown is the guy I'm thinking of. It's definitely a tough spot. We could go edge here as well with like a Boogie Basham, a Gregory Rousseau. It's a spot where you can go a multitude of ways. And honestly, we're going to I hate doing this. We're going to Landon Dickerson. The center spot is still garbage on this roster. So now you have Penei Sewell and Landon Dickerson, two high character player. Well, a very high character leader in Landon Dickerson, which is exactly what you want on this offensive line. And now you're going to have also Penei Sewell there playing guard. So you have a pretty solidified offensive line right now, which is exactly what you need to do for Joe Burrow. We'll be able to get him some more weapons with like a Tylan Wallace in the next round, potentially. At number 40, the Broncos are sitting here, and I'm going to be looking at linebacker and corner. Nick Bolton, I absolutely love it. Again, you probably want someone who's more pass defense ready, and that's not going to be who Nick Bolton is, right? That's not going to be Nick Bolton. If you want a guy like Asante Samuel Jr., who's going to be a pretty damn good player, or Elijah Molden to replace Callahan, you could 100% do that. Let's get a guy like Nick Bolton, though, because, again, if you guys want Micah Parsons, who's really good against the run game and also pass rushing, but not as great against pass coverage, you're getting pretty much a downgraded one in Nick Bolton, and I love myself some Nick Bolton. I have a late first on Nick Bolton. I love the potential. If he becomes more consistent, that's my goal for him. He has all the traits you need. He's not that fast, but damn, he could be really good. He could be really good if you want him to be. So Nick Bolton is my guy. Let's definitely take him here. I don't like this idea of people just like nutting over Baron Browning. It's just not my vibe. So next, Kadarius Toney's at the spot. Wow. Okay. Well, that made that decision easy. I know we gotta get tight end guys. I definitely know we do, but I'm very comfortable trying to wait for a Brevin Jordan than trying to go after an Amari Rogers next round. If you get I have him as a top 20 player. Kadarius Toney, not top 20, top 25 player, and Kadarius Toney. So with the Patriots on the board, this is. I think I would probably want to go a wide receiver here, anyways. Rondale Moore's on the board. I don't think I can pass up on it. Corner wise, we could go Asante Samuel. They definitely like these man corners who have some more grit to them. Tyson Campbell's another one that I could definitely see. We're going to pass on that for the time being because Rondale Moore's a little too good to pass up on. And now Mac Jones has a good weapon to dump the ball down to. Big fan of that. 47 with the Chargers. I could definitely see them trying to rock another safety here, like a Javon Holland. But, I mean, they definitely need to get a cornerback one, right? This is where you go Asante Samuel Jr. out of Florida State and actually replace Casey Hayward with somebody who could be Casey Hayward. I love ASJ. Really, really good corner. Great mentality as well. He's going to be a big impact. Also, you're pairing up Florida State buddies with Derwin James as well. At 48, excuse that. At number 48, we got the Raiders, and we got to think about this for a second. So for the Raiders, we could definitely go single high safety here. So that's my question. Is like, do we go single high safety? Maybe. Because single high safety is definitely a need, but could we wait on a Richie Grant or a Jamar Johnson? Or even just get like an Ardarius Washington later on, Andre Cisco. I think the options are brighter for that because, again, I don't control Washington. So, because I don't think that Spencer Brown's going to last. Because I know some teams like the Steelers, I could probably take Spencer Brown. We need to get a guy who can start day one at right tackle. Spencer Brown's the guy. If you want to stay relevant in your division, you get Spencer Brown. I just think that he's gonna be a top 50 player given his 10 out of 10 RAS, which is the best of all time. He's extremely athletic. He's older, so he's gonna be able to step in and start. And he's on a perfect timeline with Derek Carr as well. If you're gonna invest in Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs, you need to make sure you have your offensive line. And your offensive line's been pretty brutally destroyed. It's time to try to change that a little bit. Spencer Brown, really good prospect for you guys. At number 50, we got the Dolphins, and unfortunately, we lost on our top center prospect. That was exactly what I wanted to do with Landon Dickerson, is put him on this squad right here. But that didn't turn out to be the right move, right? So I am going to be going a different route. Not Creed Humphrey, Quinn Meinerz, aggressive, mean, and Tua's smart. So I know that Tua can study the game and he can actually help Quinn Meinerz grow in this. I think that he's going to be a much better center than I believe Matt Skura, who's on the roster right now. And he's going to be so much better than that. And I love his mentality. He's aggressive. He's mean. And he's willing to plow somebody in the dirt. So he can do it both in the pass and the run. He's very fun. So why not? Why not take a shot on it? In worst case scenario, you have somebody who can sit there. You can have somebody who will sub in, and you're not going to be having a big ass hole in your line. Quinn Meinerz, I love the idea. He's very mobile as well. Maybe not the most mobile, but definitely mobile enough to be for the Dolphins. I absolutely love that fit. So now with the Titans, this is where we probably have to go a corner or a tight end. So there's still Pat Freiermuth on the board, but he doesn't fit exactly what I would go for if I were the Titans. We're going to be going Brevin Jordan, who I have comped to Jonnu Smith. I think it's just the most logical thing. This is the reason why I decided to take Eric Stokes in the first if I were the Bills. Because Ifeatu Melifonwu would be an excellent addition here. I'm going to look at the wide receivers. De'Ami Brown's a very intriguing option, but I don't think that that's the way I would go. You know, Ifeatu Melifonwu was an excellent corner, and I think that he's going to be better than a Rock Ya-Sin, which I was never a fan of Rock Ya-Sin. Ifeatu Melifonwu is an excellent corner. So being able to put him on this roster, adding some extra depth as well, very crucial as Xavier Rhodes gets older, more injury prone, and also steals him from my Steelers. So also, fuck you, Indianapolis. So the Steelers, we definitely could be going after a corner here. Elijah Mullen would be fun, but again, we don't need a slot corner right now. I'd be looking at Robert Rochelle in the next round if I were the Steelers. So at this spot, we need to make sure that we at least get something at tackle. Brady Christensen is buns. Jackson Carman, he has stub arms. I can also be looking at Stone Forsythe here, and I know the Steelers I know the Chiefs are going to be looking at him in the end of this round, but the Steelers need an impact player, so it's either going to be a center or that. And Creed Humphrey could definitely be that, but I don't like his IQ. I don't think he fits because I mean that's exactly what I took away from it. I'm going to be personally leaning towards a tackle here. Stone Forsythe going to be sneaking into the top of the second. There's just going to be a random hype train on Stone Forsythe because he's big, he's mobile, and he's very polished day one. He has a lot of room to grow, but he's still polished. He's one of the better day one tackles. He's definitely going to be in the top 5 tackles with a day one impact, and the Steelers need a day one impact. And Stone Forsythe, I believe, measured in around 324, if I'm not mistaken, and that is right exactly where the Steelers are looking, and he has long arms, so that's a big plus. He definitely uses his length very well, and again, he put up with Azeez Ojulari really well, so that's definitely something I like a lot, and he actually dealt better with strong, heavy pass rushers. I'm talking about Jadeveon Clowney's, like Myles Garrett. He's going to be actually playing at a higher level against those guys. He fits the Steelers very well, in my opinion. So at number 58, the Ravens are sitting there, and honestly, I'm wondering who's still here. You got Ronnie Perkins and Joseph Asai here. I know that they might be wanting to go for a heavier pass rusher, so I could be looking at the guys that are on like 260, 270. Joseph Asai, unfortunately, is not going to be in that territory. I love Joseph Asai, though. Like, that's the thing. I'm like absolutely in love with Joseph Asai. So I'm slightly leaning towards that. But we could go Greg Rousseau here and just say fuck it. You know, he is around 260. He could definitely be your outside linebacker. He is so raw that you can conform him to anything that you want. Again, we could go a tight end here, but we already just lost Brevin Jordan. You know, a center could be another way that we go with Creed Humphrey. That would be a pretty logical decision given the fact that we just lost our starting center. And Lamar Jackson is a very smart quarterback. As much as I like to bash him, he's actually quite smart. He's not stupid. I just don't think that he's really as much of a quarterback as other people think. So honestly, I think that we already lost him. Oh, Creed Humphrey just went to the well, that sucks. But if we're gonna be honest, that kind of just blows everything out of the water. I'd be looking at a Peyton Turner here. He's bigger, more explosive. But I like this Ronnie Perkins. He's around 255 pounds. He's going to be able to be around 260. He's going to be similar to a Matt Judon role. So I think Ronnie Perkins fits exactly what the Ravens are looking for. Number 59, the Browns. This is where we could take a Greg Rousseau. If we're going to be honest, we could easily take a Greg Rousseau here. We could definitely look at cornerback help as well, though. Elijah Molden, I would take him if we didn't just sign Troy Hill to a 4-year contract. Paulson Adebo is another sneaky guy. Tyson Campbell. These guys who are very high ceiling, that could definitely be someone that they're willing to take, but they're not going to take him. Linebacker-wise, which I think is kind of a need for this team, they're kind of screwed on the pooch right now. These guys are not worth the second-round pick. As much as I love Pete Werner, too. Wide receiver-wise, De'Ami Brown might just be too good to pass up on. I'm not a fan of Donovan Peoples-Jones. I know he has some potential there, but he should not be starting on this roster, to put it bluntly. I think that this is where De'Ami Brown goes. It's just a sneaky-ass pick, but again, you already got on Jadeveon Clowney for a year, and you're going to try to make another playoff push. You need an elite weapon like De'Ami Brown, who I absolutely adore. At this spot, this is where you can get a 4-3 defensive end, and this is where you can take a shot because, again, you have AJ Epinesa there, and you have Jerry Hughes there. Those are two guys who, if this busts out, it is okay. Gregory Rousseau, to me, deserves to be that pick because the ceiling is tremendous. People still think he's worth like a late first-round pick. I think he's more of like a mid-second just because, again, the potential is there. He did put up 15 sacks. Granted, they weren't really on his own accord, but I think that people are starting to write him off a little too much now. But he did test pretty poorly after taking a full year off to improve his athleticism. So I can understand it. Gregory Rousseau on the Bills, man, it's just like AJ Epinesa falling. I think Gregory Rousseau could fall as well. And then the Bills scoop him up and add extra pass rush, which is never a problem. So now the Chiefs are like, shit, we do not have a true left tackle left on the board that we could take. That's a day one starter. I don't like Brady Christensen. Jalen Mayfield could be a good option. And honestly, guys, you guys are going to be seeing this with me. Of course, I'm going to be looking up the pro day measurements from PFF because that's what I do. I want to make sure you all have some very good content here. So we're going to look at some Jalen Mayfield here. 32 and 5/8 inch arms are pretty short, But I'm not gonna lie, he doesn't deserve to be here at this spot. He's the best player available, and Brady Christian has 32 and a quarter inch arms. Like, he has almost half an inch on this dude. Like, if you increase it by 1/8 of an inch, he has he has over a quarter inch longer. So it's definitely something I'm willing to put my money on, that Jalen Mayfield could definitely start on the squad. Worst case scenario, you can kick him into a guard if you want to. I don't think that's going to be a need, though. Jackson Carman has short arms as well. Jalen Mayfield, to me, has so much potential. He should not be down here. I still think he should be around the mid-second, which is a little bit ridiculous. But Jalen Mayfield, you got to take him, right? Obviously, Stone Forsythe has a 34 and like 34 and like 3/8 inch arms, if I'm not mistaken, which obviously that's almost a full inch longer than Jalen Mayfield. That's a big impact, especially day one with guys like Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney who have insane length. Jalen Mayfield wouldn't fit the Steelers at all. So number 65, this is I wondered. There's no way. Okay, yeah, I was just making sure that what's his name was taken, Travis Etienne. I was thinking about taking him here for the Broncos, but we might do that in our final mock draft. But, if Travis Etienne were still here, I'd 100% take him at this spot. We could look at some extra cornerback depth, but I'm not really vibing with that idea. I mean, Elijah Molden still is here. And if I'm not mistaken, a slot corner could be a good move. But we're gonna go away from that. Tight end is still an issue, and Pat Freiermuth's on the board. Holy shit! I didn't even realize that Pat Freiermuth is a pick instantaneously. That's a really good pick right there. 66. The Jets are on the board, and we need to either go a corner here, which we got plenty of good ones, or we did lose our slot corner. Honestly, I don't care what the other option is, which is I was looking at Michael Carter. We're going Elijah Molden. Slot corner going to be an issue. Obviously, safety could be an issue coming up soon as well. Obviously, franchise tagging Marcus May, and then McDougald. I think his name is McDougald. He obviously probably isn't going to be a top 5 safety in the league. So Elijah Molden has potential to replace Poole, May, or McDougald, wherever you want to put him. He's going to be an excellent, excellent corner. I have a late first on him. That's just me. 67. We got the Texans, and they went cornerback crazy. They don't need to get cornerback, right? I think they went interior defensive line crazy as well as wide receiver crazy. I think they just need to go best player available, probably for the offensive line. We're going to be honest. We could go Peyton Turner here, but I mean, damn, I don't really know where to go with these guys because we could go Josh Myers though. They did just release Nick Martin. Honestly, that makes sense. Josh Myers makes sense for me. So let's go Josh Myers right there. Now I think the Bengals are pretty happy because they have now their solidified center as well as a guard/tackle and Penei Sewell. I like it. So this is a good spot for us to go after another wide receiver. I think Talon Wallace could be a good boundary. Similar, he's not going to be like your AJ Green. If you want that, we can go Seth Williams later. Tight end could be an issue, but I don't think I'm going to pull the trigger on Tommy Tremble. It's just, again, I don't really feel that vibe. Edge could 100% be a good target, but they did bring on Trey Hendrickson, which I don't think that's a good starter. I think that's a big overpay, and I don't know why they did that. Talon Wallace, to me, has unbelievable ceiling, and I think it's a little bit disrespectful for him to be there. And at this spot, at 71, the Broncos would be looking at a corner right now between Tyson Campbell and Michael Carter. But I think I can wait a little bit and see if Kenneth Gainwell or Michael Carter make it out of this round because, again, they're running backs. So after you draft one, you don't usually draft more than one. I think that this would be a really good time to get Tyson Campbell to sit behind Kyle Fuller and just learn the reins, dude. The potential is unbelievable in Tyson Campbell. And again, you're losing your top 2 cornerbacks, essentially top 2 cornerbacks, in Kyle Fuller and Bryce Callahan after next year. So take Tyson Campbell there. He feels like a Bronco too. We're talking about like who I think we were talking about Caleb Farley to the Broncos a while ago. But Tyson Campbell has that speed to keep up with guys like Tyreek Hill. That's definitely something that's a big plus. Now, the Chargers are sitting here, and there's plenty of dudes who will fit. I think Joseph Asai would be a really good guy to be on this roster, man. If there's Javon Holland on the board too, wow, that's a toughie. That's a very tough one. I know they lost Rashawn Jenkins, which Javon Holland could 100% take over for. But it's like, can you miss on Joseph Osai? I know you guys have a plethora of pass rushers, but damn. Joseph Asai is just too good to pass up. I have an early 2 on him versus a normal 2 on Javon Holland. I don't think I can pass this up, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going Joseph Asai there. There's zero doubt in my mind. At this spot, 79, this could be a good spot to go interior defensive line if we have a good one. But Tommy Togiai is the only guy I could see, and I'm not pulling that trigger. Sorry. I'm going Richie Grant. Wow, we missed out on a single high before, but now we're getting Richie Grant now. What a steal. What a steal. I love it. Richie Grant's going to be an excellent single high for us, but we also need a slot corner. And if we're going to be honest, I'm not going to be able to address it later in this draft. Shaun Wade was like a top 10 pick at slot corner. Let's get his ego out of the gutter. Let's get a real slot corner that we lost in LaMarcus Joyner. Now we have Richie Grant. Again, I don't think Carl Joseph's going to be an excellent single high safety. For you guys who are about to scream that, I don't think Jonathan Abram is going to be a single high safety either. That's really good. Get Richie Grant in there. Then have a three-way rotation with the safeties. Then you'll feel a little bit better. Shaun Wade's going to be an excellent slot corner for you. And people are going to realize that they shouldn't be sleeping on Shaun Wade. So at number 81, this is a good spot for a linebacker if we really want to get one. I think Cameron McGrone's actually really underrated, but I might not go him. Again, I was looking to see if Tommy Tremble were still on the board, but he's not. I could look at another safety right now in Javon Holland, and to be honest, his ability to be a really good coverage corner and as well be a good safety is just too good a value to pass up on. It's just best player available, and again, the linebacker, not really good. So take best player available, go Javon Holland here. I have a mid-second on him, and you're getting a mid to late third. So I think that choice is pretty obvious. At this spot, this is where you need to take a tackle. Jackson Carman's on the board, cornerback as well. But we could probably take a Keith Taylor here. I love Keith Taylor. But honestly, I'm going to be going after offensive line again. You guys went after a starting right tackle before. And Jackson Carman, we got to see his arm length, dude. That's something that I'm a little bit bugging on. Let's see if Carman, of course. So we'll see. Oh, his name's actually Carman. That's funny. I put it the wrong way. 32 and a half. So technically, if you guys want to see it, here you go. Brady Christensen. Yeah, look at there. Even shorter arms. Honestly, I think that Jackson Carman would be pretty good. I want to see James Hudson's arm length because we do need to get a tackle for these guys. I'm gonna be honest. Let's see. James Hudson. He has. Oh my God! What in the fuck? This is unbelievable. What's up with the stub arms this year, guys? A Walker Little would be a good option at this spot as well. Of course, it's getting darker, so I'm turning into a random silhouette. But I mean, I think you just got to take Jackson Carman. He had a lot of years experience at a left tackle spot, but people are already thinking about moving him to guard. You could probably move him to right tackle. I think that's just the easiest thing that you can do. Jackson Carman has a lot of potential. And again, best player available. Taylor Lewan goes out. He has experience at left tackle as well. That's going to be a big plus. Next, with the Jets. Again, that's another place that we can go, right tackle. But Michael Carter's still on the board. Why not get the Lightning and the Thunder there with LaMichael P. Ryan? This is a good spot to take Michael Carter, which unfortunately takes him away from the Broncos, who I'd want to pick him up for. The Steelers are on the board, and I'm going to be honest, we need a cornerback desperately. Paulson Adebo would fit a zone scheme. Robert Rochelle, a zone scheme. Keith Taylor Jr. as well. I'm a big fan of Keith Taylor Jr. I think that he'd be good in man or zone. He's very good in a cover 3, and I don't know if the Steelers run that. So I'm going to be running Keith Taylor Jr. here. Love his size, and I love his athleticism. So he's going to be really good all around. With the Browns on the board, I was about to say, like, oh, shit, that's not the Browns. This could be fun. I can see a Cam Sample being this pick. I could definitely see that. We could look at Paulson Adebo to be a really good backup there. But let's see the best players available right now. You got Dwayne Eskridge, dude. Shit. Dwayne Eskridge would be such a good fit on this team. Steelers could have taken Davis Mills there as well. Didn't even see him on the board. But, I mean, I'm going to be honest. The Steelers are in win now mode, and I don't think they're going to be vibing with that. I could see we could go after Hamza Nasir Al-Din and put him at linebacker. That's a funny thing. I'm going to go Cameron McGrone here, though. I think that now it's closer to good value for it. So why not? And after that, I think that going after a Quincy Roche would be a very high floor, good edge depth player. So that's a big plus. I'm a big fan of it. And right here at this spot, I could see if you want to go Trey Sermon, that'd be a pretty good addition to the squad right there. But at this spot, I think, this is a tough one. They could go Tyler Shelvin to be a backup to Star Latulele. Tight end wise, there's nothing really here. Like Kenny Yeboah, I like him, but it's not it's not with the time for Kenny Yeboah. But it's down to like Trey Sermon. If you want to get another wide receiver, you could go Seth Williams right here, and that'd be a good deep option who is extremely tall for Josh Allen, who doesn't need to step in and produce day one. Honestly, I'm gonna go with the upside right here. Seth Williams to the Bills. Just why not? Also taking him away from the Chiefs, who need to go wide receiver, and now they're kind of screwed because I don't see anybody worth this pick. So that's unfortunate. But let's get some edge in here. Jordan Smith could be a really good edge around 255. Ellerson Smith would be fun, but I think he's going to have a worse day one impact. Hamilcar Rashid Jr. as well, but he's definitely off the ball. He, I think, weighed in at 245. So we are going to be going Jordan Smith here. Patrick Jones was another option I was considering, but Jordan Smith's going to be a very fun option to add to this pass rush rotation. With the why am I bugging on the damn Pat's name? With the Patriots on the board, I'm going to go Paulson Adebo. He could definitely be he's probably more of a zone corner. Trill Williams, honestly, is going to be a man corner, though. I think we got to go him. Elijah Griffin could definitely be a man corner as well. But I'm going to be going Trill Williams here because I like Trill. That's just my thing. But now at this spot with the Chargers, I'd be looking at a safety. But I can't really find anything that I'm really dying for right now. Just going to be honest. Not dying for any of these guys, and I like Divine Diablo. I could definitely see us going after a guard, though. Trey Smith's on the board. This is thanks to injury, though, or not thanks to injury, thanks to his like heart issues. He's going to be here, and we're just going to take him. Why the hell not? That was such a steal. I totally forgot that Trey Smith's even in this draft. He is my cornerback one talent-wise. At this spot, I think Elijah Griffin's perfect. You guys drafted, oh my God, he's on the Giants right now. How am I forgetting? The star corner that you took out of USC a couple of years ago. I'm bugging on his name. You guys can remind me down in the description. I'll remember it right after this video. But that's I mean, you guys already like USC corners, so why not take that? At this spot, I could definitely see us going after a tackle. Walker Little can take time to develop. I love that potential. If you're going to be potentially getting rid of a tackle like Orlando Brown, then that's going to be perfect for you. Obviously, with the Broncos, I think that we could have probably went after a Kenneth Gainwell in the next round, or even I'm starting to think about like elusive backs. Javion Hawkins could be quite fun. But here's the draft, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. It's pretty fun. I took a bit longer on this one because I didn't have much of a time restraint. But hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know your comments down below. I'll see you all on the far side. Peace.